Look, I think that's some of the key to all of this. I'm one of these people who really get off on trucks, so I get excited about it. So if I get a little carried away, please just bear with me. But that's the whole thing, is that we obviously think of ports, we obviously think of the key side of the activities, but I think what's coming out of the messages here from Jens, from obviously Patrick and others, is that really, that real focus into the future. If you want to try and do as much as you possibly can with what you've got, and you can't keep expanding, is to work on that land side of things. Because people will always be able to tweak a little bit of the key side activities, but it's land, in a sense, that's going to be your real inhibitor. And also, I agree with Patrick, size does matter. There is no doubt about it. However, what do you do if you are just a middle-sized port? You still want to be able to get that technology. You still want to be able to have those advantages. And we, I think at Fremantle Ports, have shown how a small to medium-sized port can actually also use available technology that's not stupidly expensive to solve some real issues out there. So our problem was that around Christmas of 2009, the West Australian economy kept booming. But everyone else is, in a sense, having a problem with the global financial crisis. So we kept getting containers coming in, but nobody wanted to reposition our empties. So our empty container parks started exploding. They weren't being repositioned, trucks on roads. Massive queues. It just so happened that the key place that where all these truck queues were happening, was where mum and dad wanted to try and take a ferry to go to a holiday island. So we needed to do something. The only alternative we had at that time was manual traffic management. In other words, people standing out there waving their hands, truck go over here. We had to find a solution. We were lucky in that at that time we did have some new land available. So we built a truck marshalling area. It was an investment by the port purely to allow trucks to be able to go and divert. And I think that what the Port of Hamburg is doing through teams like Sascha Westermann in looking to see where are those parking areas and where are they available and how can we best get those trucks out there to get them off the roads is a fantastic step forward. Well, we did this a little with building our own new area and purpose-built facility because we had that land available. Also, there was an industry agreement that something needed to be done. So as you can see, medium-sized port, not a lot of money is to throw around. However, we were able to do some smart things with existing technology. So you can see, what are the three things you want to do if you've got a problem happening? You want to let the driver know that there's a problem. You want to then also get him to respond and go somewhere. And then you want to tell him that that problem is now over. And then you want to shut the system down. So that's the fourth thing. But they're the three main things. Let them know, make them respond, and then let them know that the problem is over and they can go back to doing what they need to do. And that's where we have instituted some very simple solutions. We have variable messaging signs throughout the port, and then through that, when the driver gets some instructions, they know where to go because they can go in to a touch screen at the entrance to the truck marshalling area to actually go and register themselves. So these are practical solutions. What you often hear at these conferences is a lot of theory. Yes, we should be doing this, and yes, there's all these opportunities out there, but this is actually practically happening, and it has actually resolved a real congestion issue. So what actually happens? Again, the signs come up. In this case, we've got an example of DP World. DP World, one of our major operators out there. Not that DP World would ever have a congestion situation, of course, but let's just say that they were to. We would then come up on the boards. They control it themselves. This is another major thing. There is no control center. We do not have a whole lot of people sitting at PCs watching cameras and doing all sorts of things. It is the site themselves that decide, hang on, I've got a problem, and they go onto the system, free system provided to them, to start this up. They control it themselves. Nobody from Fremantle Ports is involved. Signs go up, tell them to go to the truck marshalling area, TMA, truck marshalling area. As they go in, they're picked up by a license plate recognition camera. This does not have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. This does not have to be millions of dollars. Standard camera, it's like about $15,000 to really do what you need to do. It's not that expensive. Once they get there, they then go and they get to that touch screen. So what do they need to do? They need to let us know who they are and where they're going. So they touch on that screen and say, I want to go to DP World. They let us know who they are, B1234, register. They say, what time are they there for? Okay, 1400, whatever happens to be. That's it. 3 steps within a few seconds, 20, 30 seconds, 20 at the most, that truck is registered. Not only that, but because you've got the license plate recognition camera, You've got a shot of that person. You know it is him. It is not anybody else who's coming in and sort of trying to cheat things. It is that person. So it is a very safe, secure system. The site, DP World, can see who it is at the truck marshalling area. They then resolve whatever's happening in the site. When they are ready, they call up the truck. And then obviously, within the truck marshalling area, TMA, a thing comes up to say, okay, we're ready now, the situation has been resolved, and now you can go to the site. We keep the trucks off the road. There is no congestion. We win that site the breathing space they need to resolve that situation and get on with the work, to speed up the process so much faster. So that's a little bit of technology. What's the next big thing? But there's technology all over the place. You've heard it all before over the last few years. But what have we done that's perhaps a little bit different that's worth considering? Think about using the power that you do have as a port to make your tenants actually respond. And what's the best way to do that? You put something in their lease that says, you need to be doing these things. And that's what we've done at Fremantle Ports. So, newly created land area, which you can sort of see there on the right, has given us the opportunity to put in KPIs, key performance indicators in new leases. You do well, you get an incentive, you get money. There is something that makes you want to do the right thing. We have then what is called the TOPS, Tenant Operating Performance System, that then handles the exceptions. You're not constantly looking at the data to see what's happening, but what it does is that it measures the data coming from the terminal themselves, coming from the empty park themselves. You're not involved, they're providing you with the data, and then an exception pops up which says, okay, you now must respond. If you don't respond, you do not get your incentive. If you continue to not respond, your lease may be under threat. Okay? So there are measures that you as a port, because usually ports sit there and say, oh, well, I can't really do anything, it's all the other operators. There are things that you can do. The financial incentives means that also, though, there's a risk of data manipulation. So what we really needed to do was we needed an independent verification method, a means to be able to check to make sure the data they were sending is correct. And so we've got intelligent transport systems to do that. So there are three main KPIs that we're talking about. Truck turnaround times, because that's what the transport operator cares about. How long it takes me to get in, get my container, and get out, because that's what I am charging my customer. And then, queues on roads. We didn't want queues on roads. Also then off-peak operations. We also wanted minimum involvement of Fremantle Ports. As I say, a key thing is we don't want to be involved. We don't want to have to be there being the policeman or having to put human beings checking information. It's all automated. It's all controlled by the site themselves, by providing the information in a particular the template. Minimal ongoing cost, etc. So what we're doing right now is we're looking at the queuing control side of things. We've more or less got the truck control side of things worked out. We've got other KPIs worked out, but the one that we couldn't really do is we had no idea when a queue would be happening. So right now, we've got then the queuing control system. The KPI is no queuing on roads. There's no practical means of manually determining this unless you have a person standing there or somebody ringing up to, hey, there's a queue on the road. So the ports developed a system using zoning technology. How much does this zoning technology cost you? Nowadays, compared to 10 years ago, it's a few $1,000s. That system, those pictures you see there, that's being implemented right now as I'm speaking to you. They're our variable messaging signs, and that's sort of a test that we did on one of our moles. Costs a few $1,000. You do not have to get all sorts of consultants in. You do not have to get all sorts of massive, system providers, etc. This can be done by your IT people reasonably easily. If you fail to act, you get a violation against your KPI. It's simple. It's objective. How can somebody complain when they can see the video footage coming up there that says this was your truck? It's objective. No, there's little disputes in there. What's the next stage? Truck turnaround time, because this is the key one for the transport operator, the landside logistics element. They want their truck to go in, be out within a certain period of time, because that's what they're getting their money paid on. So what we have here is we have a series of, again, these license plate recognition or automated number plate recognition cameras to be able to check the vehicle going in, check the camera going out. Why is this great? Because nobody has to install any additional technology. You don't have to have scanners, you do not have to have readers, you do not have to have RFID chips, etc., 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 as some other ports have had to do. This is completely technology independent, except that we have a means of independently identifying, uniquely identifying that truck going in and going out, and to be able to play it back if there is a dispute. It's all doable, and it's all doable without costing a lot of money. So these are just some of the thoughts that we, as a sort of a medium-sized port from Australia, the other end of the world, are implementing right at this point in time. So I hope that this has been of some value to you, and looking forward to any questions that there may be. And please feel free to contact us at any time if there's any sort of thoughts you may have.